Hi YouTube and welcome back to my random thoughts on Thursdays. So this week we are doing the Halls of Lightning, which is a follow-on five-man dungeon to the Halls of Stone that I ran through last week, and will bring us to kind of a storyline conclusion. So this was sort of a two-part five-man dungeon series here with in Ulduar, I think is the main region and everything. And yes, there is a 10-man dungeon, 10-man raid that I could run. Again, I've mentioned this before, but any of the raids that can be run for Wrath of the Lich King, I will run after I've completed all of the 5-man dungeons first. I'm going to do through all the 5-mans, and then I'll go back and see how many of the 10-man raids I can complete. Or, at the very least, I will I will make an attempt at every single one of them, and you can see how badly I fail or not with each of them. At least now with the raids, I can do 10-mans. It's not 25 or 40-mans, which in the vanilla version I was failing terribly at, especially the 40-man ones. I was like, there's just no way I'm going to be able to get through these. But we'll see how badly I fail or not with those later on. And as I was going to say also that with the coming expansion that's coming out at the end of the year, I'm going to be switching my main character from my Death Knight that I've been using for all of these solos to my Paladin, who's currently level 89. I've been enjoying playing the Paladin a lot more, and so as I'm going to level her up in the next expansion, I'm definitely going to do the Paladin instead of the Death Knight. I'm just going to retire the Death Knight for a while. I'll probably level her up as well to level 100 eventually, but the Paladin will get first dibs coming around. And one of the things, coming to think of it, is I'm probably going to be finishing up all of my raids and dungeon solos by the time the next expansion comes out. I'm pretty sure, because I'm almost done with Wrath of the Lich King now in terms of the 5-man raids, and then I have to go back and do the 5-man dungeons, and then I have to go back and do the 10-man raids. And I think I promised that I will do as many of the raids as I'm going to film every single raid that I run, every single 10-man, and I will get as far as I can, and then you get to see how badly of a failure or success I am. Because it seems to me that people enjoy watching me doing the raids whether I succeed or not. So I will post them regardless. And I think I should be able to get through all of Cataclysm as well. I mean, I might not be able to do Heroic. I'm still doing Heroics right now, but I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do Heroic by the time I get to Cataclysm, or at least not all the way through. I'm probably gonna have to switch back to normal for those, and then do as many Cataclysm raids as I possibly can, fail or succeed. But I will not go through and solo any of the Mists of Pandaria dungeons or raids until I am at level 100. So basically, once I'm done with Cataclysm, I'm going to be switching this series over to leveling up my Paladin in the new series. And let me know in the comments below, would you like to watch me level her up, or would you rather wait until I have her level to 100 and then do the Mists of Pandaria dungeons instead? I would like to hear people's feedback on that. I certainly will be happy to start a new series with my Paladin with the new expansion, and showing all the leveling up of that series, of that expansion. So you can let me know that in the comments below. In the meantime, here we are in the Halls of Lightning, which I'm not quite sure why one is Halls of Lightning and one's Halls of Stone. I mean, I guess there's some lightning outside and stuff, but it they all seem fairly stony halls one way or the other. But at any rate, there's probably some lore behind it that I'm not aware of, that I didn't pay attention to the first time around. But Okay, here we go. We already took care of the first boss. He was the commander that we kind of took out fairly early on after entering this dungeon. The second boss is right over here. And it's this big dude who's hitting a hammer on a big anvil, I think. Yep. And so we're going to take him out next. Volkan is his name. We'll take him out. And we have Ionar, and then I've got Lokar, something like that, who we heard about in the last dungeon while we were following Bronzebeard, and we found out that Lokar still existed. And there's a whole history behind the dwarfs and the origin of the dwarfs with him and everything. So if you're interested at all in the lore, I do kind of include some of that in last week's episode, so please feel free to go and watch that if you're interested in finding out some of that lore. Alright, so we got rid of him. That was a fairly easy process. He was always a pretty easy tank and spank boss one way or the other, so I wasn't too worried about him. Oh yes, this was always annoying. Because as you're running through here, these guys are all statues, you can't attack them right away, but then some of them come to life, and then you have to turn around and kind of fight whichever ones kind of revived themselves. And then you keep going, and then there's some more that revive and everything. And there's not a heck of a lot you can do about it, you just have to kind of deal with it. So it's not like a bunch of trash mobs that I can avoid one way or the other. I always found this annoying, even playing at level with my guild and everything. It was like, can we get past this already? Alright, one more group, and then we're free of this torture chamber. And it is taking me a little bit longer to kill things now, because obviously these are higher level dungeons, and I am playing on heroic, so things are taking a tiny bit longer than they otherwise would have. Alright, so now I gotta take care of these guys so that I can get to Ionar. Kind of some elemental things that I need to deal with. And yep, there he is. So I'll have to get up there and take out these little minions first. There's too many of them for me to get past, so I gotta take these out first. I think these are wind and lightning elementals, so I guess maybe that's why it's halls of lightning, because these guys are, that's a lightning elemental right there, and this guy is a wind elemental. It's just a big ass one. Alright, so again, fairly straightforward tank and spank there. I don't think he had any fancy tricks up his sleeve as far as I can remember. And obviously I'm killing him too fast, one way or the other. Alright, so now we get to go through this next area here, where they've got these, basically what looks like planets and things revolving, and then some kind of odd, weird looking alien things floating around as well. I always wondered what those were. If anyone who's watching this part of the video, these weird looking things with the little tails on them, if you know what those are, I would love to know. I've never bothered to look into them, and I don't know what to call them. They're just interesting looking. I don't know if they have any significance to anything whatsoever, but I always wondered, there might be some kind of cool sci-fi thing about them. I don't know. At any rate, I always loved this room just because of all the planets and stuff. It's like, ooh, that looks kind of cool. I'm a sci-fi buff. I always loved sci-fi, so anything that looks kind of sci-fi-ish, you know. Sci-fi and fantasy are my two favorite genres, always have been. Alright, so we're gonna ignore some of the trash mobs over there and just keep going. So we've almost gotten to Lokar's, or sorry, not Lokar, Loken. I misspoke there. Get to Loken's location. And here we actually see a spinning globe of what I believe is Azeroth, if I'm not mistaken. Actually stand here looking at it for a while. We've got the Eastern Kingdoms right there, and then there's the Maelstrom in the middle of the ocean, followed by Kalimdor, the continent of Kalimdor. So that's kind of cool. You can actually see everything on an actual rotating globe rather than on a flat map that we're so used to looking at. So that's kind of cool. You know, someone made a kind of a Game of Thrones via kind of a Google Maps style Game of Thrones map at one point. I wonder if anyone's ever done that for WoW. They probably have. Actually, I think I've seen one once. Kind of cool, you know. It was a little bit, you know, not the best of detail and everything. So I wonder if anyone's ever going to make one with higher resolution and stuff. That would be kind of cool. All right, so here we go. Final boss, Loken, and he like I said, he's something involved with the creation of the dwarves and everything. But if you want the full story, we learn more about it in last week's episode, which obviously I wasn't paying that close attention to. Alright, so here we go. Here's our Storm Herald that we're turning our quests into. And of course we have to make choices. So like, what gives us the most gold? Because all of the stuff is low-level gear for me. But a little bit extra money is always nice. Alright, make a choice and complete the quests. And then there's actually a shortcut behind Loken that we can use to escape from everything. That was Volcan, but yes, there's I ultimately end up figuring this out. Because typically if they do make a shortcut, it's going to be behind whoever you just defeated. So yep, here we go. We just have to jump down from here. See, this section here is broken out, so you can actually jump down. And this is where we defeated the first boss that I was talking over other stuff with. And then we can exit out of here. So I will start wrapping things up. I want to say thank you very much for watching this episode. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm certainly going to continue doing these right through Cataclysm at the very least before I switch it up to the new expansion coming at the end of this year. And again, I do appreciate everyone who watches these videos, especially if you watch them all the way through. That helps my channel out quite a bit if you do that. So, again, thank you very much, and please take care. Until next week, bye-bye.